All right. Um, it's the 22nd of October 2024, and this is not my usual time. It's just a little late. I wasn't at the charts. I wasn't at my computer. Just the last 2 hours I wasn't at my computer. I had some personal things to deal with. So, but I'm going to do the analysis for the a new 4-hour candle. Um, let's get straight to the chart. All right, 1 second. Okay. Yeah. So, so this is the daily time frame. Yesterday, price closed in between 2750 and 2700. I said uh, yesterday, if you watch the last 30 minutes of yesterday's stream, the first 30 minutes or the first 45 minutes of yesterday's stream, I said that we're heading towards 2750 and there could be a pullback to H4 demand, and that's exactly what happened. So let me just take you to the trading chart and show you exactly where price did pull back to. So these are two levels that we had marked yesterday. There was a demand zone here, and there was a demand zone here. And I had drawn both of them, and I said that if price comes to either of them, I'll be looking for an M15 setup to take a trade. Price broke straight through this. There was no opportunity to take a trade here because price went right through it. But it did come to this demand zone, right? And I had given these numbers out yesterday: 2715.79, 2712.78, 2708.67. Those are all places that I had placed pending orders. We came in after the stream, maybe about an hour and a half after the stream, and I had missed 271579. The trade that I did, yeah, so what happened was on the 15-minute chart, um, this is what happened. Price did come to this area, and the reason for this dark green box is because it's a high liquidity zone. We had marked this out yesterday as a high liquidity zone. Yeah, we had marked it out yesterday. That was a high liquidity zone right there. Price did come to it. I said if it did come to it, I was looking to take a buy trade at any one of these levels. I missed the entry because I wasn't at the chart, but then I checked the chart about an hour later, and I saw that price had touched it and moved up. So I got in a little late. So I got in, instead of getting in here, I got in about 25 pips above. So basically I took the trade there. This was about 2 hours after the session ended. And if price did come deeper, then I would have, managed my trade there. I would have closed my trade there if you broke below that low, because that was the 15-minute candle low. So I got in somewhere. Yeah, that's where I got in. So about a 30, 38, 39 pip stop loss, and I held the trade because the idea was that we are very bullish and we're going to come back to these highs, break these highs, and continue to 2750. So that's still the idea, right? I closed majority of my position just about 15 minutes ago, just before I started the stream. About 15 minutes ago, I closed majority of my position right here at these highs right here, but we have broken the high. We should be heading towards 2750 and then maybe even higher than that, right? So I've got like 5%, about 5% of my position left. I'm going to hold that to 2750 or higher. I've just got TP at around, I think, 2757. Probably when it gets to 2750, I'll probably close the trade. It might do that today or it might do it tomorrow. The market is slow. So if you look at the daily candles, we are still just like last week, because this is not a news week. We're making about 250 pips per day, right? That's what we're doing, just like last week. Last week it was about 235, 230, 235, 240 pips per day. We've done about 250, 240 pips yesterday, so averaging around the same, right? So today we have already crossed 230 pips. So maybe I don't know, there is nothing, there is no information on the left, there is absolutely no information on the left to know where price is going to pause or stop or reverse. It could pause here, it could reverse 200 300 pips right here, and that is why I closed majority, almost 95% of my position I closed at these highs, because price can reverse here, right, and we can drop 200 300 pips to grab liquidity to continue before continuing higher. The 4-hour candle is about to close. Now the reason for this supply zone that was drawn here, yesterday I drew this supply zone just as the session was as the 4-hour candle closed, is because of this, right? So we had a rally, we had a single base-in candle and a drop. So that was a supply that I had drawn, but price in the Asian session we tapped it several times. So if you look on the 30-minute time frame in the Asian session, we tapped it once, we dropped, again we tapped it, we dropped, again we tapped it, we dropped, again we tapped it, we dropped, and then finally the fifth time we broke through. Okay, but now we've broken, and if we close back in, then we could drop again, right? We could take sells to come down again. Now let's look at where the 4-hour candle is going to close to draw a demand zone. Okay, so these are support resistance lines from yesterday. These are support resistance lines from yesterday. I'm going to leave them as it is. If you want to have a look at these, how they were drawn, watch yesterday's stream. They were very clear. I was very clear on exactly how I drew these lines. Okay, um, I'm going to leave them for now. Let's just look at the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so the 4-hour candle, this is closing. It's got about 2.5 minutes for this candle to close. So most likely we're going to close bullish here, which is going to make this a demand zone right here, right? So we're going to have a rally, two base-in candles and a rally, right? Leg in, two base candles and a leg out. So there's going to be a demand zone right there, right? About a 40 pip demand zone, about a 40 pip zone, right? And that zone would be a high liquidity zone because it's taken out this supply, right? Um, this demand zone right here is also still valid, and that is a high liquidity zone because there's a rally, there's a drop, a base, and then there are candles moving out. There are about 3 candles moving out of that zone. So this is a better zone than that zone. Right now, when this candle closes in a couple of minutes, there's going to be a zone there, but there's just one candle out of the zone. Here is a lot cleaner. There are 3 candles, 4 candles moving out of this zone. Okay, and it is a high liquidity zone because we've taken out the supply. So we have a rally, a base, and a drop, right? So for example, let me just, that's the supply zone right there. Okay, you have a rally, a base, and a drop, and the move out took out the supply, so that's a high liquidity zone. Okay, right. So in that high liquidity zone, let's look at the 30-minute. So that zone's quite large, right? That's about an 86 pip zone. But in that zone is this candle right here and this candle right here, and this candle is better. That's a liquidity candle, right? That's a bullish engulfing candle. That's a 61 pip candle. That's the candle that I want to, if price drops to, I would want to take buys at, right? So maybe at the high of this candle, let's just look at the 15-minute also. Yeah, so that's a pretty big candle. That's a decent liquidity candle right there, and that's about a 40 pip candle, and then the one below is also about 30 pips, right? Um, so in terms of buys, again, this is where I would want to take buys. Okay, at the high of this 2050, price would need to come to this level for me to take buys, right? So maybe it'll do that today, maybe tomorrow, but it's about 166 pip. It can happen, very possible. Price can drop easily 160 pips, and then we can continue high again. So that's an area that I would want to take buys here. And then also just look at the 15-minute time frame. 685, 685. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, just I don't want to cause any confusion. Um, yeah. Okay. 784. Okay. So, sorry, 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, I had some unforeseen work today, some personal work, so I couldn't start the stream on time. So I'm going to be here for about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Um, so price is coming down. Let's just draw this demand zone that we just discussed. Close 153. Low 780. Okay. Um, yeah. So I'm not too thrilled about this demand zone, to be honest. That is that's the nearest demand zone. Let's get rid of that. There is no supply. Okay, there is no supply. Um, that is the closest demand zone, 4-hour demand zone that we have. But this one is better. Okay, this one is better. So if price comes here and pushes up, so be it. I'm not going to try to take any buys because this is the price has tapped this area quite a few times, right? If you look at the 4-hour, it's not a very clean move up. Unlike this one here, you have a drop, a base, and a clean push up, right? This is weak. This is a There are two basin candles. It's okay to have two basin candles or three or four, but the move out is not convincing, right? This is a more convincing move up, just like this rally, three basin candles and a clean push up, two candle push up, right? And this one was a basin candle. This also had, two candles pushing up, but price cut straight through it. So if you look at the 15-minute time frame, what price did was that was a candle that cut right through it, right? So this low was 2362, 2362. Just want to show you guys what price did. So there was no opportunity to take any buys there, right? So you can see price came straight, the next candle broke the low and broke right through it, right? So there was no opportunity to buy anywhere, right? There was no rejection there was no bullish candle, there was nothing. Price just broke straight through it. So once it broke straight through it, I said that then it's coming to the next demand zone, and the next demand zone is a zone that we had identified yesterday, which was that one right there, the rally, 3 basin candles and a rally, right? So price did come in, and that was the place to take. We identified a liquidity candle in there. Um, this is very clear if you watch yesterday's stream. That was the liquidity candle inside the zone. If you watch the first 30 minutes or first 40 minutes of yesterday's stream, it's very clear. I explained all of this. This was the liquidity candle. I said price, if we come into the demand zone, that's the candle that I want to take a trade of, right? So from the top of the candle to the bottom of the candle is about 100 pip zone. So price, that was too much of a zone for me, so I didn't place any pending orders. I wanted to see how price would react when it came there. And on the 15-minute time frame, that's where I enter my trades on the 15-minute time frame. We touched and we pushed up, right? So once we pushed up, I should have ideally entered my trade when this candle broke the high, when the next candle broke this high, but I wasn't at the chart. Okay, I did see this on my phone later on because I was watching that area. I put an alert on that area. So when price did drop, I got an alert and I watched it. And once this candle kind of closed and pulled back, that's when I got in on the trade, right? And it did run to the top of that area that we said here. This candle has no top wick, so I was anticipating price to get up there, and that's exactly what it did. We went out, we took off the high there. So once this candle pushed up and closed and wicked above that, that's where I closed 95% of my position, right? So now if price pulls back here, I'm not going to be looking for any buys. Further down here, possible, right? So maybe if it does that today or later on today, I'll put an alert in this area somewhere here. I'll add an alert and I'll watch if price gets anywhere near 2723. That's an area that I'd be looking to see what kind of reaction we get from this high liquidity zone, right? It's possible to take a trade here, but because price has touched it several times, I'm not going to take a trade here. Okay, so I'm interested in this area down here. And then if you break through this area, the next area is price can come down to is this demand zone. So the zone is about 143 pips. We've just come into about 18, 19 pips in that zone. So about 80% of the zone still left. Okay, so I'm going to bring this zone down a bit. This low is 1424. 14.04. Okay, so that too is a high liquidity zone. Again, I'm not going to go through all of that now. It did take off. If you watch yesterday's stream, it's clear why that's a high liquidity zone. It did take out this supply here, this H1 supply. So that's a high liquidity zone, and price has already reacted to it. So now that candle, that's the liquidity candle. Price has come to it, right? So we're going to have to bring that down. That low is 24. Okay. Right. So these are the support resistance levels. We had drawn about 4 or 5 of them yesterday. I'm going to just, yeah. I don't like a cluttered chart, but yeah, I'm going to delete them. So let me just explain these zones before I delete them. So that was drawn on the 15-minute time frame, right? So you can see how price touched that area. We touched here, we touched and closed above, so that is, and we closed below. So that's one resistance. Then we have a reaction here as well. You can see the number of touches here. Then we have a reaction here as well, the number of touches here, and here again, and here, and then all across here, right? And the same goes for these zones as well, right? We had drawn all of these. You can watch yesterday's stream. I've drawn all of these zones, and then I've drawn once I did take entry, I'd drawn these zones above because I wanted to see if price would close below them. If price closed below and rejected, then that would be a reason to close, part of my trade, because I wouldn't want the entire trade to hit my stop loss, which was just under that candle, right? So, but when I did see, I think the Asian session, I had a look at the trade this morning, and yeah, so I saw this candle close above, then I left everything because we did close above sub resistance here. And once we do close above, an Asian session is a high volume session. So once we do close above this, then we're going to the next resistance. And then in the London session again, I took a look at the trade. Where was it? Here. Yeah. This big bullish candle in the London session. Once we crossed through all of these resistance levels and closed here, I knew that we were coming up here, right? Because that was the original idea. Once we get entry at demand, we're coming to the top of this candle because this candle has no wick, and that's a supply zone. We're coming into that candle. That was the idea. So price did I come here, and that's where I closed 95% of my trade. I closed here 2740. That was the price. 2740 is where I closed majority of my trade. I've got about 4% or 5% of my position left, which stops at break even. I'm targeting 2750, right? That's the next place, psychological level that price can come to. So I'm going to get rid of all of these areas. Wait 1 second. Let's just talk about what we usually do, what the market has done so far. So this is where the market opened, right here. All right, this is the market open. This is the market open right here. Yeah, this is the market open. We pushed up, right? So price had dropped in the New York session. At the end of the New York session, price had continued to drop, and then the market opened here. It pushed up, pulled back a bit. It created the Asian low. That's the Asian low, 3 p.m. server time for me, IC market server time, and that's the Asian low. And then we pushed up, and we created the Asian high. That's around 6:30 a.m. IC market server time, right? That's the Asian high. That's the Asian low, Asian high. So in the Asian session, I think we moved about 120, 125 pips in the Asian session, right? About 125 pips. Then price broke the Asian high, pulled back, creating the London low, right? That's around 8:45.9 server time, IC market server time, and pushed back above the Asian high, closed above, went further up and created the London high, right? That's the London high around 11:15 server time, IC market server time, right? And then pre-NY, we broke above the London high, we closed back below, we tried to come back to the London low, which is that's the London low, tried to come. We tested that area, pushed back above and closed above the London high, right? Now we've closed back below the London high. So if 5-minute candles or 15-minute candles close below this support, this resistance level here, or this support level here, we should continue down to the London low, right? And if we close below the London low, then we're coming to the Asian low, and that's our entry area. This is exactly what the exact same play as of yesterday. These were if you remember, the Asian highs and the Asian lows. If you watched yesterday's stream, that's exactly what the same play. The exact same play is what happened yesterday, right? Price started closing below the London high and the Asian high, and then it dropped to the Asian low. Okay, that was the Asian low somewhere there, I think. Can't remember exactly where it was, but it dropped below, and that's where the H4 demand zone was. So it's probably doing exactly the same thing. So, yeah, but we need to close. So if you can see, this candle has closed below this support level, so we should continue down. This is probably a top wick to continue down. Yeah, so we did close in support. This 5 minute closed in support. The next one tried to close back in. The next one closed back below. This tried to close again inside. It couldn't. So this is probably creating a top wick to continue down. Okay. And then if we close below this support level here, we should come to the London low, right? That's where the EMAs are, the two EMAs. That's a fast EMA and that's a slow EMA. We should come here to this London low, which is right there. So that is 2729. If we close below 2729 or close below this support right here, we're coming to the Asian low. And that's the demand zone, right? And if I'm going to put an alert, so once price gets to this area, I'm going to probably come back to the chart and see if I can get an entry from here. I do have I have a small position left here, so this is probably going to get stopped out, but my stop's at break even. I'm going to look to take a trade there, and then I'm going to do exactly what I did yesterday. I'm going to wait for a 15-minute candle to close, use that as my entry candle, and put the stops below that candle to look for a buy if we do come there, right? But there are several things that have to happen for price to get there. I hope I was audible. Yeah. So several things have to happen for price to come here. We got to uh, we got to see another 5 minute close below this, because for the 5 minute candle is trying to close back above. So you want to see another 5 minute candle close either inside this support or below it. Once that happens, price is going to come down to the London low. You want to see a 5 minute or a 15 minute, preferably a 15 minute candle, close below the London low or below this support. That's 2729, right? So close below 2729. Once that happens, we're coming straight to this demand zone right here, right? So that's the plan. This is you can call it whatever you want, trade ideas, trade signals, but this is the plan. These are the entries. So 272050, 2717.84, 2716.85, right? Stops below here, below 2714, right? Stops below this candle here, 2714, because that's the zone. That's the H4 zone right there, and that low is 2714.24. So stops below 2714, right? Now, if you want a tighter stop, then you will need to not take a pending order. You'll have to wait for price to come there, like I did yesterday. Wait for a 15-minute candle to close, and then trade off that 15-minute candle when the next candle breaks the high with the stop below that 15-minute candle, right? The rejection candle from this area, from this light green area, right? This light green area is a 60 pip zone, right? So you can, if you want, you can place pending orders with stops below this in a 60 pip zone. To me, 60 pips is too much, so I need like a 30 pip stop loss or a 40 pip stop loss, like how I did this, right? This was about a 38, 39 pip stop loss. That's fine. So that's the kind of thing that I would want to do here as well. But there's a lot of things that need to happen for price to get there. If it doesn't, and it just pushes up from here, if the 15-minute candle closes above this again, then we're pushing up, right? If the 15-minute candle closes back above the London high, then we're pushing straight up. We're going to break this high, and then I don't know where we're going to continue to, because there is no information on the left. This is why I hate doing analysis or trading at all-time highs, because there is no information on the chart. You don't know what to do. Once price breaks an all-time high, you don't know what to do, because you don't know where price is going to react to again. The only possible place is 2750. That's a psychological level, right? So I'm going to add an alert there as well. If price gets to 2750, I'm going to probably close this trade, okay? But for that to happen, a 15-minute candle has to close above the London high again, right? If it does close above, then we're not coming down, we're going to continue up. Okay, so there's an alert. I'm going to set an alert around 2745, 2746, or 2748, and I'm going to set an alert around 2722, around 2722 as well. Okay, that's the plan. Buys from here. If all of this doesn't happen, then we're heading straight. And if we close above here again, if there is about 9 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. Yeah, if this candle closes above the London high, then we're going to break this high and continue. Just take a look at the candle high. That's a rejection on the 1 minute. Yeah, that is a rejection. So this might be a top wick to continue down. It might be a top wick from the supply zone to continue down. That's very possible. But obviously, I'm not going to take any sells here because there is no zone. I don't want to just, because I do have buys from running from down here. I don't want to just, just take sells. Um, yeah, I don't want to sell here. We are very bullish. We're very bullish. The daily is bullish. The 4 hour is bullish. Yeah, even the 1 hour, we have a rejection here. But if you want to take sells, you want to wait for this 1 hour. Yeah, if you want to take sells, you want to wait for this 30-minute candle to close. If the 30-minute candle rejects this area and close back below this support level here in the next 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, then you can take sells, probably coming down here about 60-70 pips, and then coming all the way down there, which is about 125, 130 pips, right? But you want to wait for this 30-minute candle to close. This 30-minute candle has to close below this support level. Only then can you take sells coming down. You've got to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. We have one candle that has rejected this area, that has closed back inside of this H4 supply zone. So there was an H4 supply zone right here, a rally, a base, and a drop. So there's a zone right there. A 30-minute candle closed above and closed back inside, right? So this 30-minute candle has to close below this support or below the London, yeah, ideally below this support. Because if it does close below this support, then it's going to turn bearish, right? We're going to have a bearish close. So it needs to close below this support to take sells. You can place your stop loss above the current candle and wait for the next candle to break the low and take sells coming down, right? And very likely we're coming down all the way here. So that's a good 120, 130 pip drop all the way down. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we got about 15 minutes, about 6 minutes for this 15-minute candle to close. Let's see how this candle closes. Okay, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, so we are rejecting that area. So that was price is trying to create a top wick to come down. Okay, so we tapped into that supply right there. There's a rally, these all basin candles and a drop. It tapped right there, and we are trying to come down. We're trying to push down, but I wouldn't take sells here. I don't recommend taking sells right now. Wait for um, a 30-minute candle close below this support, because this is counter trend trading, right? So you want more confirmation. You don't want to trade off the 5-minute and the 15-minute. If you're trading with the trend, then high time frame volume is on your side, so you can take those trades going up. But this is a counter trend trade, right? The high time frames are all pushing up and they're all against you. So you want to see a 30-minute closure below this support, right? A 30-minute closure below the support to try to take sells coming down here. Until you see that, don't try to take any sells. Even though it seems like we're creating top wick, don't try to take any sells here. So 30 minutes seems like it's closing back above, right? Yeah, 15 minutes. If we close above this, the London high, it has to close above the London high. That's the London high right there. It has to close above. If it closes below, then we're coming down. We're probably creating a top wick to come down, right? It needs to close above. Yeah, so we closed above. And the 30-minute also closed above the London high. So we are pushing up now. Okay, we are pushing up. So this was a bottom wick to push up. We closed above. So taking buys here, I personally don't, because this is chasing price. I don't. I always wait for the pullback. I always wait for the pullback and to take the buys, because the pullback always gives me low risk, high reward, high probability trades. Just like the ones that I've taken, the one that I'm holding here, and the ones that I've taken on the stream. I always wait for the pullback. But there are breakout traders that are very successful breakout traders, and you can take these trades. I don't. I'm very uncomfortable with trying to take breakouts, but you can take these trades, right? You just have to manage risk really well. Also keep in mind, prices moved already 230 pips. So it's averaging about 240 pips per day. So prices already moved 230 pips. So does it have enough volume to carry on another 100 pips? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So this is a dangerous place to buy. You're trying to buy at the top, anticipating price can break the high and continue higher. Um, yeah, the New York session has not done anything. It's just ranged. We had a pre-NY price pushed. Okay, let's forget about pre-NY. Pre-NY just pushed price down. So NY session pushed price up about 70, 80 pips, about 75 pips. We ranged, and then NYSE push price another 50 pips, and then we're just ranging. So the NY session has just moved price about 80, 90 pips. That's it. It's not done anything yet. Not done anything significant yet. Yeah. So the 4 hour, and we haven't tapped into this demand zone either. We're just still trying to push up. We haven't tapped into this demand. Although I feel that if we do tap into this demand, we're coming straight down, because this demand zone has been tapped in, has been touched several times, right? It's got a touch there, 1, 2, 3. So the fourth time is very likely to break this and come further down. 13. Yeah. So it's coming deep. Price has come in deep. It's not 3 times. It's just once, because this is the 4-hour candle closed, right? The candle closed here. It hasn't tapped it. 17. Yeah, no, it hasn't tapped it. But that's a very weak H4 demand zone, because the amount of wicks here. Prices traded in that area several times. I just wouldn't want to take buys here. I wouldn't want to take buys here. Also, the reason one more reason why I wouldn't want to take buys is because there is very little profit potential. Um, this is the top of the range. So what, it's got 60, 70 pips at the most, 60 pips at the most. It's not worth it. With the 30, 40 pip stop loss, it's not worth it. This is far better. Price comes here, you got a 200 pip move up, at least 200 pip move up. That's the minimum, 200 pip. If we close above this, then we're heading up there. That's another 100 pips. So if you do get in here, if I do get in here, uh, potentially 200 pips here and then another 100. So that's a 300 pip move. That's far better, right? So you got to look at profit potential as well, the move. It's not just where to enter, but also uh, what's which zone is going to give you better, better better RR. This zone is going to give me a lot better RR than that zone there. That's exactly what I did yesterday as well, right? And I said this, if you watch the first 30 minutes of yesterday's stream, you'll see I said that if price comes here, I've got about, 100 pip move up. It was at that candle, it had about 100 pip move up. But I said if price comes to this zone, I've got a 250 pip move up, okay? And that's exactly what happened. I did take a 250 pip move up, 250, 260 pip move up, right? To about 240, 250 pip move up, and anticipating another 100 pips here. So that's, yeah. So you got to look at not just the zone, the entry, but also look at what kind of RR you really want. Um, and also, I'm just, even if I didn't consider RR, just don't like this zone. I really don't like this because um, it's just not enough of a move up. If this candle had closed above this resistance, H4 resistance, this 4-hour candle had closed above this resistance, I'd definitely be looking to take buys there, definitely. But it didn't. It closed below the London high, and it closed below that 4-hour resistance. And it closed below this resistance level that I've drawn. It closed below all of that. Below the 4-hour, below the London high, and below this M15, M30, H1 resistance level that I've drawn here. Close below all of that. So this 4-hour candle, this leg out, is not very strong. If it had closed above, yeah, that was been a clean move up, and I would have been looking to take buys there. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream now because I think price has already moved, its range for the day, which is around 230, 240 pips. It's done that already. So it's pointless trying to. So this is where the market opened, right here, around here. This is the market open. So we've moved 230 pips already, right? and the average daily range is about 260 pips, 250, 260. So we're almost there. So yeah, price is kind of exhausted right now. So if price comes here, let's see. I'll put an alert and wait for a trade. And I'll put an alert there to close this open order if you get here. But that's about it. Okay, so just make a note of these levels: 2720.5, 2717.8, 2716.8. Yeah, those three levels in this zone, right? In this zone, those three levels. If you break this zone, then we're coming down further to this zone here, and then there are levels in that as well. These levels. So 2712.7, 2708.6, and 2707.3, right? That is in this zone. Price comes. So if you break this, we're coming down here, and that's yeah, that's possible. So 250 pip move, that's very possible. That can happen later on today, just like this huge move yesterday from exactly the same resistant level. Price dropped 250 pips, right? It dropped 250 pips from this resistance level, and prices today it's back at that resistance level. So it could drop there or could just continue higher. It could go up there 100 pips or could drop here and come to this zone or this zone, right? So this zone is okay. This zone is okay. This zone, not really. Is it a high liquidity zone? Just ugly. Ugly, no. Just don't like the amount of times price has been ranging there. When I'm looking at zones, I want to see clean moves up like this. Rally, base, rally, clean move up. Same here as well, this one. Rally, base, rally. Click on the 4, a lot nicer. Rally, base in candles, straight push up. Okay. Even this is a very nice zone. Rally, base in candles, 2 candles out of the zone, right? This is a very nice area for price to drop to. That's about 450 pips away. It could do that this week. We could come down 450 pips. So what is that? 2692. Let's look at the daily time frame. 2692. 2692. Yeah, 2692. And the weekly. Yeah. So it's just below this candle, and this candle has no bottom wick. So price could come below 2692 to grab liquidity to continue higher. But that's a good 450, 500 pips away. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So no need to worry about that. Okay. Now, before I go, this week, fifth calendar. Okay. There is nothing on news this week, right? Except for Thursday, which is not going to do much. Unemployment claims are not going to do anything at all. So there is no news this week. Next week, It's a volatile week because it's the NFP week, so that the last week of the month also coincides with the first Friday of November. Okay, the last week of October happens to have the 1st of November, Friday, the first Friday of the month in it, the first Friday. So usually when this happens, they don't release NFP on the first. When you have it, they do it the following Friday. But the reason they're not doing it the following Friday is because the week after is election week. So let me just show you. So this week here, this is election week. All right. So that's the reason they're not releasing NFP on the 8th. And because on the 8th, we also have the federal funds rate, right? The interest rate decision. So that's too much of volatility. So they're not doing NFP. They usually never do NFP and interest rates on the same day. They'll never do that. So that's why they're doing NFP. So this is very rare to have NFP on the first on the last week of October, the first Friday falling on the last week, and they're having NFP there. It's very, very rare. They usually never do that. But the reason for that, there are two reasons for that. That's because the first week of November, starting the 3rd, is election week, right? And is also interest rate week. So that is very high volatile news. And the week after that should be CPI, yeah, CPI and PPI. So that's going to be a very volatile week. And by then, a lot of the chaos would have calmed down, right? So I'm thinking the reason I'm sharing this is because I may not be trading or I may not be streaming, or even if I do stream, I might not be taking any trades this entire week because it's not because of the interest rate, it's because of the US election. There will be a lot of volatility in the market, and it's very likely that your entries are going to get slipped, or when you try to close a trade or open a trade, you're just not getting the price that you want. Or you might struggle to close a trade, right? You might struggle to close. It might close at a completely different price than the price that you want it closed at, even if you're in profit. So you might be in profit and try to close a trade, and when you close it, that trade might be a losing trade. That's very possible because all of that happens during election week, right? So I might live stream this week. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet if I'm going to continue live streaming this week. But if I do, it's very unlikely that I'm going to be trading this week, right? So let's see. And if I'm not trading, then there is really no point. Kind of doesn't make sense in me live streaming either, because I want to. The whole point of me live trading and live streaming is to show you guys what I do every day, right? And this is what I do every day. I draw supply demand zones like I did today, identify high liquidity zones, draw support resistance levels, and manage risk if price goes against me, if I go in drawdown, right? That's the purpose of it. And if I can't do that, if I'm not trading, then I can't show you this. I can just probably draw the zones um, and identify this, but I can't really show you how manage risk if I don't get into a trade, right? So let's see, maybe I can just draw the zones and show you guys where to take buys or sells, but I'll not take any trades because I don't like trading. There's too much of chaos happening in the market this week, right? So starting from the 3rd to the 8th is election week. Actually, 4th to the 8th, that's election week. So, and I think the results are out on the 9th. Yeah, on the 9th or the 11th, results will be out. There's a US bank holiday as well on Monday. Yeah, so the results, US election results will be out on the 9th, I think on Saturday. Um, yeah, the results will be out sa Sunday, I mean Saturday 9th, uh, latter half of uh, the NY. I mean, NY is not open, New York is not open. Uh, there's no trading on Saturday because the broker is closed, but the latter half of the day, right? I think probably NY time around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., or even after 5 p.m. That'll be the results. That'll be so there'll be a lot of volatility starting on Monday, the 11th, but the 11th is a holiday. So Tuesday has no news. Tuesday's no news. So I'll be trading again starting 12th of November, right? That's when I'll be trading again because then by then we'll know who the future president is, who will take oath. I think on the somewhere in Jan. We'll know who the president is, and also then we just got our usual news events like CPI, PPI, and retail sales. These are all big news events. CPI, PPI, retail sales, they're all big, right? So we have a busy week. The second week of November is going to be pretty busy. The second week, right there, right? Starting the 11th, going on to the 15th is going to be a busy week, right? And then after that, it's just trading as usual. 17th, yeah, there's no news. Third week, there is no news as usual. And fourth week also, there is no news. Okay, there's a bank holiday. And then we're into December. So, yeah. So this week, uh, I'm not going to be trading. And let's see if I'm going to be streaming this week or not. But for sure, starting the 11th, the 12th, because 11th is a holiday. Starting the 12th, I'll start trading and streaming again. Okay. So what's happening on the chart? Okay, so we are closing above. We are 15-minute closed above. We're going to break this high. We're heading towards 2750. Okay, that's the next pit stop. I don't know what's going to happen today. May not happen today. That's another 85 pip move. Might not happen today. But that's where price is heading, 2750. I'm going to add an alert there and wait for price to get there. Okay, so that's the end of the stream. Hopefully, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be on time tomorrow. Just today, I had some things, I had some work to do, so I couldn't start on time. Um, but nothing happened anyway. We just absolutely nothing happened. We just ranged. The move was in the Asian session. That was the move from this demand zone. Okay, right. So I'll be back tomorrow, usual time. We'll do our analysis and check if we have any trading opportunities. All right. See you guys tomorrow.